Okay, let's be real. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed trying to manage your money, you are not alone. We're going to break down a really powerful AI-driven method to get your finances under control. And the best part, it takes just 10 minutes a week. So forget about those crazy complex spreadsheets and the guilt of daily check-ins. This is all about a smarter, not harder way to handle your money.
I mean, seriously, how many of us feel this in our bones? This is such a perfect starting point. It's not that we're bad with money. It's just that traditional budgeting can feel like this awful, soul-crushing second job that you never, ever signed up for. This one line it captures that feeling perfectly.
So what we're really talking about here is a huge shift in mindset. We're moving away from the old way, that feeling of tracking every single dollar, the spreadsheets that look like a 70s disco floor, and that constant feeling of guilt. And we're moving to a new way, a way where you delegate the grunt work to AI, you spend just a few minutes on it a week, and you actually get control back without all the stress. That's the promise we're digging into.
All right, so let's start with the heart of the problem, what the source material brilliantly calls an allergy to budgeting. You know that feeling, right? That little pit in your stomach right before you open your banking app, because you're just not sure you want to see where all the money went?
Yeah, this list probably looks super familiar. Mint, YNAB, Copilot. Maybe you've even tried those super elaborate color-coded spreadsheets or followed advice from finance influencers. The author tried them all, and they all failed. But here's the key insight. The tools weren't the problem. The real breakthrough was realizing, I don't want to be a full-time accountant for my own life. The goal has to be a system that works for you, not one that makes you work for it.
And that realization, well, that leads us directly to our second part, a really fundamental shift in how you think about all this. This is that aha moment, where all that frustration actually turns into a solution. Instead of just trying harder with the same old methods, the entire approach gets flipped on its head.
This question right here, this is the game changer. Just think about it for a second. Big tech companies don't have a person manually checking every little thing. They build automated systems to flag what's important. So what if you took that exact same logic and applied it to your own bank account? What if you stopped treating it like a chore and started treating it like a system you could optimize?
And this is absolutely crucial. The goal is not perfection. Trying to track every single penny is exactly what leads to burnout and makes us quit. The real goal is automation. It's about building a low-effort system that does the heavy lifting, catches the big stuff, and keeps you on track without driving you crazy.
So how do you actually do this? Okay, this brings us to the best part, the most actionable part of this whole explainer, the 3-step AI playbook. It's simple, it's repeatable, and it's what makes this whole thing click. It really just boils down to these 3 steps: audit, recommend, and visualize. You use one AI to look at what you've done, another to suggest what you should do next, and then a really simple tool to keep an eye on things. Let's break down exactly what that looks like.
Okay, step 1 is the audit. All you do is go to your bank's website and download your transaction history. It's usually called a CSV file. You just copy-paste that raw data right into ChatGPT with a super simple prompt, something like, hey, can you categorize my spending and tell me where I'm wasting money? For the author, the result was instant and kind of shocking. $92 a month on forgotten app subscriptions and paying for 2 different grocery delivery services, stuff you'd probably never spot on your own.
Now, step 2. This is where you get your action plan. The source suggests using a different AI, Claude, which is known for having a more conversational, almost empathetic tone. You give it the same data, but you ask a different, more powerful question. How can I reduce my spending without feeling like I'm depriving myself? And the AI didn't just say, spend less on coffee. No, it gave a concrete plan. Cancel these specific duplicate services. And hey, it even drafted the cancellation emails for them. Now that is real delegation.
And the final step is to visualize. But I want you to hear me on this. We're talking about the simplest way possible. No complicated dashboards, no crazy charts. You just ask the AI to create a basic summary table. You paste that into something simple like Notion or a Google Sheet. Your weekly check-in takes like 2 minutes. You're not analyzing formulas, you're just glancing at a quick snapshot that flags anything weird like, hey, you're 11% over on food delivery this week. It's just a gentle nudge, not a scolding.
Okay, so that's the system. It sounds clever, it sounds simple, but, does it actually work? Let's talk about the payoff, because at the end of the day, results are the only thing that really matters.
$582. That's how much money was saved in just 4 weeks using this system. Just let that sink in for a second. And this wasn't from getting a second job or, never having fun again. This was purely from working smarter.
And here's exactly how it happened. This wasn't some magic trick. It was a combo of really concrete actions. $173 from canceling those subscriptions the AI found. A pretty surprising $98 just from avoiding late fees that were flying under the radar. And over $300 just for making smarter choices because the data was finally visible. It's the perfect proof of how small automated insights can add up to a massive impact.
This brings us to our final and maybe the most important part of this whole thing, the big idea that's holding this entire strategy up. It's all about leverage, not effort.
So why does this AI method actually work when so many other things fail? It's because it saves you from what's called mental friction. That cognitive load, that stress, that willpower you have to burn just to get yourself to look at your finances. The AI does the heavy lifting. It takes these invisible problems like that duplicate subscription or that tiny fee, and it makes them completely visible. And the second a problem is visible, it suddenly becomes solvable.
And this is the punchline. This is the new philosophy for personal finance in the age of AI. The game has totally changed. It is no longer about who can grind the hardest, tracking every single purchase. It's about who can apply the right leverage, using the right tools to get the biggest results with the absolute least amount of effort.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. This approach, this whole framework, it's so much bigger than just money. So ask yourself, what other invisible problems, maybe in your work, your health, your relationships, what could you finally make visible and finally solve if you just applied the right kind of leverage?